How do I keep caregiving on track when I'm managing from far away? You're miles away, another city, another state, maybe juggling work and kids, but your heart is still tethered to the person that you love. You call, you text, you check cameras or apps, but every quiet pause on the other end makes you wonder, is everything okay? Sometimes long distance caregiving can feel like steering a ship through fog. You want to stay connected, but you can't always be there. This week, we'll talk about how to lead care confidently, even when you're not physically present. I'm Dr. Anna Thomas. I'm a physician, TEDx speaker, and founder of Life Care Leadership, a space to help caregivers like you turn survival into leadership. I created this podcast, The Age of Caregiving, to give caregivers the tools, structure, and support to lead care with clarity. Whether you're balancing care, work, family, or adjusting to a loved one's changing needs, you're not alone. Remember, everything I share here is for educational purposes only. Always consult your healthcare provider for personal medical advice. And if you're juggling work, life, and caregiving and you feel like you're drowning in responsibility, then check out my book, From Caregiver to Care Leader. It's a practical guide for building systems that keep care organized and sustainable. The link is below. All right, let's talk about why distance doesn't mean disconnection. Being far away doesn't make you less involved. It just means you need stronger structure. Think of yourself as the care director rather than the hands-on daily provider. You're building systems that allow your loved one's needs to be met, monitored, and adjusted without burning anyone out. The goal is clarity, knowing who's doing what, how you'll stay informed, and what to do if things change. You want to build an eyes and ears network. Every long-distance caregiver needs trusted people on the ground. These are your local contacts, your eyes and your ears. It could be a paid helper, an aide, a neighbor, a friend, or another relative who lives nearby. The key is reliability and communication. You want to start by identifying one primary contact who can check in regularly and one backup in case that person's unavailable. Meet with them on a regular basis and explain exactly what kind of updates you need. It could be changes in mood, appetite, mobility. It could be safety concerns like falls, confusion, wandering. It could be keeping an eye out on the home environment, spoiled food, home hazards, other issues. Give them a simple checklist that they can follow and a place where they can share it with you. It could be a checklist that they text you. It could be a weekly 5-minute call. It could be a Google document that you will use to correspond together. This is a partnership, it's not surveillance. Let them know how the observations can help you support, not micromanage. Second, you want to use technology as your bridge. Technology can close miles if it's used correctly. Start simple. Video check-in, so schedule regular FaceTime or Zoom calls. Visual contact, eyes on, can help you spot subtle changes. You can also use tools like shared calendars to track appointments, refills, visits. You can use Google Calendar or Cozy, something like that, so everyone can see updates instantly. There are other apps that you can use, platforms like Caring Village, Carely, lots of helping hands. These are apps that allow task tracking, messaging, and document sharing. Consider also smart devices depending on your situation. These could be motion sensors, medication dispensers, video doorbells that can all provide peace of mind while respecting privacy. And if your loved one isn't tech savvy, choose options that run automatically or require minimal steps. The goal is reassurance, not overwhelm. The third step is to set a rhythm for communication. Inconsistent updates will only create more anxiety for you, so replace random calls with a clear structure. It could be daily or 3 times a week, every Saturday, whatever it is that you need to do to get those check-ins. I recommend daily for basic wellness, but a weekly summary call that's a little bit more in-depth can review key updates, what's going well, any new concerns, upcoming appointments, planning for the week ahead. A monthly report is also possible, especially if you're working with an agency. This might be when you review any written notes or details that are summarized and shared between you. Keep your questions during these quick check-ins short and specific. How's the appetite? Any falls? Any changes to their appointments that I should be aware of? When communication is consistent, you spend less time worrying and more time problem solving. You also want to partner actively if you're using a care agency. If your loved one uses professional caregivers or a facility, treat those staff as part of your team. Introduce yourself to the care coordinator or the supervisor. They should know that you are the main point of contact. Ask questions up front. How are they trained? How are they supervised? What's the reporting process if there's an incident or a concern? Can I receive weekly logs or shift notes? What happens if somebody can't come? Who do I call if there's an issue after hours? Document all of this stuff, names, numbers, hours, incident reports. If you notice patterns like people are frequently late, rough handling, missing supplies, issues like that, make sure you address it early. Send a brief professional email and then have that phone call with them. Remember, the email creates a paper trail and keeps communication clear. And of course, if you ever suspect theft, neglect, abuse, those are non-negotiable, right? Report it immediately. The doctor, the agency, local adult protective services. Safety always comes before politeness. The fifth thing you want to do is to have an emergency plan. So distance can magnify risk during a crisis. You want to make sure you have a clear outline of what to do. Who is going to be called first, whether it's a neighbor, emergency services, who's going to meet the ambulance or go to the hospital, how you'll be notified and how you're going to travel if needed, and where the copies of the medical documents, insurance cards, and medication lists will live. You want to make sure it's all stored in an easy to access place. This could be, for example, a one-page emergency sheet taped inside the front door or near the phone. Ideally, digitize it so you can text it or email it in seconds if needed. And rehearse this plan. Make sure that everyone knows what to do, where to find the information. The sixth step is to make sure that you keep records organized. Even from afar, you can control the organization of documents. Create some folders, digital or printed, where the stuff will be stored. One might be medical stuff, doctor's notes, med lists, test results. The second folder, home and care related stuff, caregiver schedules, agency contacts, task logs. The third, finance and legal, bills, power of attorney, insurance info can go in there. Make sure you review this. Make sure you review this regularly. Consistent organization can save hours of stress when something changes suddenly. The last thing to do is to support your local helpers. Long distance care succeeds when the local helpers feel valued, not used. So check in on them too. Ask how they're doing, how are they managing, and if possible, periodically a simple small gesture can go a long way. A thank you note or even, covering a tank of gas. People show up longer and they do a better job when they feel valued and when they feel seen. And don't forget, take care of yourself too. Being far away doesn't protect you completely from burnout. Sometimes it makes it worse. You might feel constant guilt for not doing enough. So you got to set some boundaries for yourself. Have some off hours when you're not going to be checking messages unless it's absolutely an emergency. Accept that good enough care is still good care. Seek support from other long-distance caregivers through an online group or locally where you live. Your stability, your peace of mind helps everyone else involved. So let's bring it together. Leading care from a distance is about coordination, not control. You don't need to know every detail, but you need to build a system that can work. So build your network, use the right tools, document clearly, and communicate. And when you do, caregiving shifts from constant panic to a predictable rhythm, and that is leadership in action. For more information, I want to encourage you to pick up my book, From Caregiver to Care Leader. The link is below. Next week, we're going to talk about how do I balance caregiving with parenting my own kids. That episode takes additional leadership principles into family life, especially when caregiving and parenting collide. Remember, you are more than just a giver of care. You are a leader of care. This is the Age of Caregiving, and together we can lead it with strength, courage, and compassion.